saying? And that's not who Mexican people are. Man, you have to understand that we're in danger. You know, if you understand what's happening with these detention centers, you know, they're separating families. Did they not separate the black family and destroy it? Did they not separate the Native American Indians and destroy them? And now they're coming after the Hispanic people. You know, we have such a close a love for our people, and now we're finding that we're fighting for that love that we have of sharing everything together, because now they're trying to separate us. Who's separating us? The nation that's destroyed all other nations. And that's why it's important for us to embrace this, man. We could be the last of what a family structure is really like. You know, and with us, we could help our brothers and sisters out there to once again embrace that we have. You know, we could be, I don't know, the most humblest people, but at the same time, we can be the strongest people. And by that is, by what I mean by that is by helping other brothers understand that how important it is for us to be able to stay, you know, as a family structure. It's important, man. And we're seeing today the attack on the Hispanic family in America is something that no one has brought up. I don't see anybody talking about this. You don't see no news media. You don't see anybody talking about how they're breaking up the family structure. And it's important for us to understand that who's going to speak about it? We're going to speak about it right here in this truth, because you know what? We believe that, you know, maintaining the family is based on being able to show respect and love for each other. And you know what? If we can help our brothers understand that, then we can all understand that, you know what? This that they're doing at the borders, in the detention centers, and destroying families by separating them, you have to understand that these kids are going to grow up, and they're going to grow up out of a family. They're going to grow up once again, what they used to call them in the 80s, latchkey kids. Remember that shit, and latchkey kids? They had these latchkey kids because why? The mom had to work, the dad had to work, and the kids were coming home from school to stay in apartments by themselves. And you know why that had to happen? Because the parents weren't making enough money to be able to pay rent by themselves. They had to have the mom working and the dad working in order to make ends meet. America is a monster, man. What is more important than family? To America, keeping you working is more important. Keeping you separated is more important. But homosexuality is okay with them. All this transgender stuff is okay with them. But the family value is something that they take for granted. You know what? Here in Israel, we have to understand that that's treasure. That's gold. And we have to show that we can keep that. We can maintain that. And speaking up for these children that are being separated, that are going to grow up without those families, you know what? That's what's important for us to bring out. That's an important subject always. That's why I'll always bring it out. You know what? I'll never stop talking about it. You know why? Because it's important for me. Go ahead, Shaq.
Right. You know, family is just eroding, you know. They're making the families break up like that, you know, and everybody's, you know, they're not there because of the simple fact you got a high rent you got to pay. You got to pay all these bills, the electric bills. You know, electric bills going up. You know, shoot, my electric bill just went up. It's a lot of that going on, so that it keeps you off balance. You know, they knew what they were doing. That's why this is a slavery. This is not living free. This is not living the way that you want to live your life. You know? This is the way that you can contribute to the building of their empire and building of their riches and making sure that they have all those things, like that Learjet and all that. And then you got the lady who was that prominent star that was, she was out there, how you say she cheated on those SAT scores, whatever those university or college entry tests are. She had all that money. She paid that. She paid that to get her kid into Yale, to get her kid into USC, UCLA, University of Boston. That's another big thing coming out in the news. I forget her name or whatever, but she's some type of actor or whatever, and she had plenty of money to go and do these things. Even though she got busted, praise the Most High in Christ, she got busted. But imagine how long that's been going on. These only two people, you know. You got thousands upon thousands of college kids that probably had parents who cheated and paid money to make it look like they passed these scores, that they were gifted, academically gifted or intelligent enough to get into the university in the first place.
Right.
You know, black kids go in and we got to fight from the bottom to the top.
Right.
You know, and it looks crazy. I remember sitting in college once, man, and I'm taking how you say it, the tutor classes for math. I was taking some tutor. You know, I raised my hand. I had my hand up there like for a half hour just to get one question solved. They were looking at everybody else but me.
Right.
You know, till I hired my own damn tutor. You know, and I passed that class. I hired my own damn tutor. You know, and that's how they look at it. You go, oh, we got tutorship and all this stuff. These people do not give a damn about you, man.
Right.
And if you've been to college, you understand how racially biased it can be.
Right.
It's very racially biased.
And let me tell you something, Shadow Rock. Absolutely good point, man. Because you know what? That could be one of the problems that a lot of us have. You know, what do people go to school for? Well, they go to school to make more money, right?
Absolutely.
And they tell you, well, go to school for you can make more money. That's the American perspective. Go to school, get an education, pay your college. You know, get into one of those colleges and you know get in there and make money. You know what I'm saying? And they're sending you into these schools, and then you get out of that college and you go out and find a job, and you find yourself paying for this tuition that's gonna follow you for years. You know what I'm saying? But you know what the Chinese are doing? Chinese, Armenians, all these other people, they're coming to America. They ain't even getting an education, man. They're going straight out to the world, making them shops and getting rich off of you. You know what I'm saying? Right. And you know what? They got you going to college. They're giving this blacks and Hispanics go to college, go to college, go to college. You know, go to the army, serve, and get a college fund. And then you're coming back, and you know when you left the army, the Chinese guy next to you was broke. When you came back from the army, he had 3 or 4 shops already open while you went and served in the army. And you came back for nothing. And that brother now drives a BMW, has his house, and he's doing a lot better than you are. They already know how to do it. They know they're going to come to America, set up shop, and become rich. And you think that getting into some college is going to get you there. And you know what? None of these people are getting anywhere with that. Kishawan, you had something to say?
Yes, like if I could, real quick. They make it seem like everybody has a fair opportunity here.
Right, Khan.
Right.
They're making it seem like everybody's got a fair opportunity, and we don't. The only people that are making it, you know what? I see a lot of, and I've gotten this from a lot of brothers, right? That Mexicans have money. Well, yeah, Mexicans are doing that right there. Mexicans go up and open taco shops. You know, go and open body shops. Go and open upholstery shops. You know why? Because in Mexico, that's what we do. In Mexico, everybody does upholstery. Mexico, everybody goddamn sells tacos. In Mexico, everybody does, you know, up and down the board. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? And when we come over here, we can't get jobs. They don't want to hire us because we're illegal. We're asking for green cards. So we're like, man, what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to do what I used to do in Mexico. I'm just going to open up a taco shop. And I'm going to work it like that. And you know what? They find out real quick that opening that business was a lot better than them have going to work for the goddamn corporation that was just on them and on them and on them. And you know, living at the day, you know, they have you short. They have you on a short line. The best thing to do, man, is just get it together and do your own thing, because you know that whole goddamn getting a job, it just doesn't work for our people because they have us on check. You know, oh man, he's a wetback, this and that. But you know, we ain't dumb. We know exactly how to do it. And I tell you that from experience because, man, I know a gang of my brothers that they open up them body shops, they open up them paint shops, they open up them taco shops, and you know what? They find themselves doing a lot better than they did, you know, when they were struggling working for the white man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead,
I mean, you know, the Japanese came over here and they get $10,000 when they open up a business.
Right.
They get a $10,000 loan off the tizop, off the top. You know, they get that loan right there, and they're able to set up all these businesses and everything. Why do you think the place is opening up?
Right.
You know, they got this business over here and that business over there.
Right.
You know, Icicle Wright Brothers got that credit that they did it from scratch from the ground. But these foreigners coming over here doing all of that in America, and then they're looking at you like you crazy.
Right.
You know, they looking at you like you nuts. You go and try to get a loan, they look at you like you got a tail.
And let me tell you something. Like a lot of the people that I know, Issue Right brothers that I grew up with. You know, I know a lot of people out in South Central and Paramount and you know Compton area, and they were all struggling. And why did they were able to open up shops? Because out there, no one was trying to get those shops. You could rent a place out there for $200-300, $400 tops. You know, because ain't no one has business out there because that was the ghetto. But you know, we struggle to open businesses. Go through what we go through, and we slowly start moving up. You know, we slowly start doing it, and that's the way it's got to be here. Here in this truth, we're starting from scratch all over again. We're coming from nothing. You know what I'm saying? We're leaving everything behind and coming into this truth, coming into Israel, man, as nothing at all. With just what little we learned in the world, we're coming into this truth with that. And with that, we have to understand that we got to begin to do the same. We have to begin to structure, whether it be a business, whether it be a self-employment type, whether it be a gift that you may have, and learn how to work it, market it, and begin to sell it into our own people. Because, hey man, that's the way it's done. You know, when you ain't got nothing, what little you have, you make that work, you know, because that's the way it's got to go. Businesses can be open, you know what I mean? You just got to know that it's going to be a struggle. But, you know, like us, like the Mexicans that you see out there, you know, I see it all the time. I'll tell you where I went this weekend. I went down to East LA. I went out to Whittier Boulevard. And out there on Whittier Boulevard, man, I seen, man, I could not believe what I saw. I saw taco trucks, man, all up and down the whole, it's like a 5-mile stretch. All along that 5-mile stretch, man, taco truck here, taco truck there, churros, you know, all kinds of stuff. And it was just super busy out there. I was like, man, I told my wife, man, you see, that's Ishikar right there. Like, we'll go out anywhere and just try to open it. And when one Mexican sees it, then they're, oh man, this guy must be making business. Let's go over there. The thing is, everybody had business. No one was, you know, hey, why'd you take my territory? No, everybody was doing their thing. And that's just an example of how, you know, that's the way that it could work. You know, we work together, we respect each other, and we grow in business, because America hates Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, and they have kept us down for over 500 years. When is it time for us to separate and start saying, you know what, it's time for us to do our own thing? You know what I mean? It's time for us to do what we have to do. Go ahead.
That's right. You know, we gotta be on one accord. You know, we work better when we're working together.
Right.
We work better when we don't have to say, well, this brother gonna steal my stuff. He's not gonna, you know, he gonna take most of the profit. He gonna leave me high and dry. You know, we lost that code. We had Black Wall Street.
Right.
We had these businesses. We cornered the whole damn Dow Jones Industrial.
That's right.
We cornered the whole Wall Street, the markets, the stocks and bonds. Blacks was doing it during the Great Depression.
God.
Man, what worse a time than you care for a business during the Depression?
Right.
But we had Tulsa, Oklahoma hammed up with all of that. We had that sold up, man. We had businesses, shops, hospitals, banks.
Right.
You know, and our stocks were steady rising up. We were able to trust each other. We need to bring that trust back to each other, because the bottom line is we're going to be the only ones we got. We're the only ones we got. Soon as we get to that context to realize we're the only ones that we got. That woman now, that congresswoman, you know, she knew that she was the only black amongst all those whites that felt safe and comfortable while, you know, her son could get killed. She only had to depend. She got to depend on herself to get out of that situation, or at least to address it. And she know that in her neighborhood, they all are fearing that. We fearing it here in Los Angeles.
That's right.
It's being feared in Baltimore, D.C.
Right.
This ain't no new story, man. You know, L.A., New York, Brooklyn, everywhere, man. You know, Chicago, St. Louis, wherever you find a ghetto, parents are scared that their kid's gonna get shot. And 9 out of 10, it may be a white man.
And let me tell you something, the neighborhoods, they don't want black people or Hispanic people in their neighborhoods. You know, these neighborhoods that are being gentrified, they're doing everything possible to not have your people in these areas. So a lot of us are like, man, I don't want to live in that neighborhood because that's a rough neighborhood. I want my kid to grow up correctly. You know, I don't want to have to worry about my kid getting shot, like Shadrach is saying. But then you try to move into these neighborhoods, and man, they make it impossible for you to move into these neighborhoods. it looks like they have a plan already mapped out where you won't be able to rent in that neighborhood. To begin with, they give you an application and they want a perfect credit score. Come on, man. I'm Mexican, bro. I ain't got no perfect credit score. Next, they want you to be making 3 times the amount of the rent that you're gonna get. Come on, brother, man. Who makes 3 times the amount when rent is like, I don't know, $2,200 for a single bedroom, $1,800 for a single bedroom in California? You know what I'm saying? And they want you to make 3 times that amount. You know, and then they're asking how many kids you got. You know, because they don't want your kids in that neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and they'll find any excuse to not get you into that. You know what I'm saying? And then they want you to have a gang of references. How many references you got? How many credit cards you got? You know, and they're just making it almost impossible to have certain people be able to move into those neighborhoods. You know what I mean? That's the way gentrification works. That's the way they're mapping it out to keep you from moving into areas where they no longer want you. And I see it all the time. Boyle Heights, Lincoln Heights, Eagle Rock, you know, all these areas out here where it used to be predominantly Hispanic. And now, you know, you don't see it no more. Now you see all these people being pushed out, moved out. Rent is real high. You know, you can't get a place there no more. The avenues right there, Lincoln Heights. I remember Highland Park. That's in Highland Park, you know, Highland Park, the avenues, it used to be, able to rent there. Now you can't even get a place there because, you know, they've made it in a way where a Hispanic person cannot get a job there. And then they don't hire you at the good jobs where you're making that kind of money that they're asking for because they're just not doing that. And then goddamn, they're taking all this stuff out of your paycheck, so you ain't bringing home that kind of money anyways. So it's just ridiculous, man. So let me go on. Oh, go ahead.
And I want to add to this. I worked in the housing industry, finding people housing, and this is like cheap housing or just finding a place that suits their income. I went to an app, and you can look this app up. It's called Zillow, Zillow.
Zillow.
They had apartment in there, a rental for $10,000 a month.
Wow.
$10,000. I don't give a damn if it's furnished. I don't care if it got furniture in there. It's furnished, completely furnished. $10,000 is ridiculous per month. That's to show you how much they want you to live in their neighborhood. And there's a lot of people out there. I couldn't. A lot of my clients, I couldn't find them housing.
Right.
Because I was like, man, this guy's on. He makes $1,500 a month.
Right. And these are soldiers.
Yeah. So they were soldiers, right?
Yeah.
He making $1,500 a month. This guy is $3,500 a month and still is high as hell.
Right.
He's looking at a $2,200 apartment. And these prices are just, in these nice areas or even in some of the areas that are becoming regentrified.
Right.
The rent is shot so high.
Right.
One bedroom's going for $1,700,
right.
$2,200. How you gonna come up with that kind of money every month?
And then let me tell you something. You're going into areas like, for instance, I go eat at Boyle Heights. Boyle Heights is one of my favorite areas to go in and eat. Me and my wife, we like going out there. We like going to the Hispanic areas, Boyle Heights, East LA, and we got to this restaurant that we used to go to a lot, and I went there and the prices were like, I was like, oh my God, and then they're charging you extra for using your debit card, and they're just finding ways to make ends meet. Because why? Because their prices are also going up. Their mortgage prices are going up, their rental prices are going up, their utility bills are going up in these restaurants, and these are Mexican-owned restaurants that have been there for a long time, and they're upping their cost of being able to stay in those areas. And what do? They have to pass that on to their consumers or to their the patrons, the people that go there. And why? Because they've just found it so difficult to be able to stay in those areas. And let me tell you something, Boyle Heights, man, it's been known to be Hispanic throughout, since the early 20s. Boyle Heights, El Monte, Montebello, these are Mexican areas that today, man, they're just being gentrified and pushing our people out. And when you try to get an area, a house to rent there or an apartment to rent there, it's ridiculous what they're asking you to do to be able to rent these places. So, man, gentrification is real, and it's our people that are being pushed out of the area. And it's nothing new, because back in the early 1900s, they had, what was that called, the Red Line? Red Line, where certain areas were not allowed to be, black people were not allowed to rent in these areas.
Absolutely.
You could not rent if you were black in these areas. You could not rent if you were Hispanic in these areas. You know, these was white-only neighborhoods, and they would not want you there. And it's still the same now with this whole Trump shit. You know, you go into a neighborhood and they look at you like, what is this Mexican doing in my neighborhood? Or what is this black man doing in my neighborhood? You know what I mean? So it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous the way it's going. You know what I mean? So that's why we gotta understand. We gotta separate ourselves from these people. You know what I mean? You guys
and also when you mention the businesses, you know, the Mexican businesses in East LA, and you know, probably some black businesses as well.
Right.
You know, they also, on top of increasing their prices on their menus and charging you for using your debit card because the price of their food or their supplies is going up and all this. Also, you got to look at the property taxes are going up. Property tax.
Right.
I got to pay more money on property tax. I didn't know it was coming up to this. I've been serving in this business for 20, 30 years. All of a sudden, the property tax is going up, you know. And then also, they had a thing a while ago where this sister was in New Jersey, I believe, and you know, we talk about like the red lines, and we talking about this is geographical segregation. You know, they made sure that this bus line, they had a bus line out to this new strip mall way back. You know, it's kind of back in probably the 90s or whatever. Right. And the sister finally got a job over at that little strip mall, Salaki. And so she got the job on her way to work, you know, and it's snowing like hell out there. This is in New Jersey. She gets off, but they made sure that this bus lane that goes to that strip mall was stopped on this little island, just a little island. It's coming from a long way. You think about a lot of people got to go there to get their jobs, to go across. They have to cross a 4-lane highway or a 6-lane highway. I think it might have been the 6th lane.
Right.
You know, and she got ran over by a car.
Wow.
Just got the job. Remember?
Yeah.
Just got the job. I think that old Al Sharpton, you know, we don't like him, but still, he came to the forefront. Al Sharpton came to the forefront and said, you know, this is geographical segregation. He was right about that part.
Right.
That's what it is, because they geographically separate us from these areas.
Why
is there so few buses going into the nice neighborhoods, but you got a whole express line for the bad neighborhoods? Right. Once you get to this area, it's like 1,000 stops, 1,000 buses come packed back to back, and it's packed with poor blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But when it's time to go out to those nice areas, that bus comes every hour and 45 minutes. Oh, it stops running at 6 p.m. The bus stops running at 6 p.m. So if you got a job out in that nice area, you won't be able to keep it, you know,
right?
Because you can't, you know, you don't got a car, you can't get out there. They know that. They know that. They want to make sure some other Edomite gets it or some other heathen nation gets it that's not black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. You know, that's geographical segregation, man. You have to look at these things, understand it is a system that's planted. And this system has been going on since we got off those slave ships, man. Since we came across the transatlantic slave trade, this system has been put in place to destroy us, man. You know, we were speaking about the book, The Black Indians, last week, about how they separate the pureblood Indian from the black Indian.
That's right.
You know, from the poor, from the young Indian to the old Indian to the light-skinned Salaki, the light-skinned Negro to the dark-skinned Negro. They were throwing in all kind of things. We were talking about that. Yeah, you know. That was the Jim Crow before the Jim Crow even wrote the damn Jim Crow law. I mean, was it Willie Lynch? Willie Lynch, yeah. That was the Willie Lynch before Willie Lynch got it all together and said this is the plan that we're gonna do so we keep these slaves fighting each other. Right. You know.
And you know, I mentioned that you're saying is didn't happen in America only. This whole thing of separating the dark skin and the light skin and the Hispanic and the Central American, you know, this happened in Central America during the time of in Guatemala and Honduras during the plantation times of the banana and the coffee. You know, they implemented these type of would you say Jim Crow laws or Willie Lynch laws. They implemented that out there in Latin America. They did that to our people too. To pin us against each other in the wicked way where we would hate each other because they would put in our ear, they put that bug in your ear. Oh, the black people work harder than Mexicans. Central Americans, they're talking about the Mexicans, and the Mexicans are talking about the blacks, and they would pin us against each other, forcing us to separate. Ourselves, we'd separate. You'd be like, kind of like the prison, you know what I'm saying? In the prison system, we out here, me and Shana, we the best of friends. But as soon as you go into the prison system, me and him end up in there, he's going to go with his people, and I'm going to come with my people, and we ain't going to talk to each other. We're going to see each other as enemies. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening out here in the real world. We separating each other. Mexicans, oh no, the negros, and oh the blacks, oh no, and goddamn Mexicans, and we don't understand that we're all going through the same problem. Damn right, Joey. Psychological warfare that they've implemented this for a long time. They've learned how to turn us against each other by psychologically, manipulating us to hate each other. You know what I mean? And even today, we're still in the same boat because, a Catholic man, you tell him, hey, the Christian, oh, I hate Christians. A Christian with the Catholic, oh, Catholics are this. We know that everybody's wrong. If you in Israel, you just ain't right. There ain't no fight there. You in the wrong boat. You need to come here and see things the correct way. And like everything, we all got to come here and see the right way. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's all about. So now, Kushanwan, you got to, let's go into, my brother Joey Jimenez had hit me up earlier this week and hit me up about Romans 13. And this is one of the reasons why I went into laws today and the laws of the Aztecs and how they're so similar to the laws in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The Aztec laws and punishments and all that the Aztecs would have, during Aztec laws, how their whole system, correlated with the laws in the Bible. They had the Bible had judges. Aztec system had judges. The laws in the Bible, you would be put to death. The Aztec laws, you'd be put to death in Aztec laws too. Their punishments, laws for law, just as they were in the Bible in the old days during the times of Moses and Aaron, and when they started making laws that we all had to follow. So no big difference. We're all the same. We maintain the same. The only thing is that we've learned to embrace our oppressor, his ways, his lifestyle, and today we live in the American dream. And this dream is really a nightmare for Latin America. And you have to be in a dream to be living the way we are today. You know what I'm saying? Because this is ridiculous. So we're gonna get to the next topic, and that is Romans 13. And the question was, what is this? What is Romans 13? What is it pertaining to when it says, "Let every soul be subject unto higher powers"? Right? And he was wondering, what does that mean? What does it mean by unto higher powers? Is this talking about per se laws that the government's putting down, or are these the laws that the Bible talks about? Are these higher laws the ones that are subjected by the laws of our country, or are these the laws that the Lord is talking about? And I'm going to read it real quick. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. So, if you see the laws of the power, the higher power in the Aztec kingdom, well, who was the higher power in the Aztec kingdom? Well, the nobles were the higher power. All of us had to go to the nobles because they maintained laws. Their strict laws kept our society, our civilization in order. Without their laws, we would be like the goddamn white man. You know what I'm saying? Killing everybody, murdering everybody, killing all animals. The white man has no laws, right? The Caucasian has no laws. That's why he goes to Africa and will kill any animal. He doesn't respect anybody's laws. He doesn't respect that a certain giraffe is being extinct. Who's extincting it? Well, he's extincting the goddamn zebra. Who's extincting the turtles? Well, he's extincting the turtles. But because he doesn't obey any laws, he doesn't care. let me tell you, in our kingdom, in the Aztec kingdom, you were prohibited to do certain things. You couldn't be a goddamn drunk. You couldn't go out there and binge and go out there and just drink like crazy, because you know you could be put to death, or you could be shaved bald for doing something like that. You couldn't steal, you couldn't rob, and those were laws. Now, where is the laws of the kingdom coming from? Well, we're getting them out of the Bible, right? We're reading the Bible laws, the Ten Commandments. Go to the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments are telling us what these laws are and how we got to follow them. Let me tell you, the Aztecs had commandments too. The Aztecs had the commandments just like the Bible did, right? And they abided by these commandments because it was important to follow laws and commandments. And I'm going to read you some of the laws and commandments. So we had commandments in the Bible, and the Aztecs also had commandments. And the commandments that the Aztecs had are real similar to the commandments that that the Lord had in the Bible. And let me see if go ahead, Sharma.
So like I got a precept.
Okay, go ahead.
I believe this is going into what the brother's asking. And this is in Mark, the 12th chapter, and the Salakia. I would say the Salakia, give me 1 second.
You found it?
12 and 15. We can start off there.
12 and 15.
Oh no, Salakia, 14. So Mark 12 and chapter 12, verse 14. And when they were come, they said unto him, Master, we know that thou art true, and carest for no man, for thou regardest not the person of man, but teachest the way of the Most High in truth. Is it lawful to give tribute to Caesar or not? Verse 15. Shall we give or shall we not give? But he, knowing their hypocrites, said unto them, Why tempt ye me? Bring me a penny that I may see it. Verse 16. And they brought it, and he said unto them, Whose is this image and subscription? And they said unto him, Caesar's. Verse 17. And Yahushua answering said unto them, Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to the Most High the things that are the Most High's.
So you see, whatever is Caesar's. Well, Caesar is a word that's used to I would say like to describe a ruler. You're a Caesar. You know what I'm saying? Caesar. Some people think that the name was the name Caesar. Oh, his name was Caesar, but it's a title. Caesar is a title. Caesar means ruler. That's what the word Caesar means.
Right.
If you look at the word Caesar, it's a ruler. You know, he's a Caesar. You know, there's a kingpin Caesars. You know, a Russian Caesars.
A czar.
A czar, exactly, a Caesar, a shar. So you got rulers. So the Lord is telling you, man, if that's Caesar's, then give it to Caesar, right? And brother says it's to seize or to take control. Yeah, that could actually mean that. It could mean to Caesar to take control, right? So it's give unto Caesar what's Caesar's. Give unto the ruler what's the ruler's.
Right.
But give unto God what's God. Us as Israelites, we have to give unto God what's God's.
Salaki, if I may, when you're an Israelite, whatever land you go into, you ought to follow the laws of that land.
Right.
That's within our laws. Our laws say follow the laws of the land that you're in.
Right.
So that doesn't keep you in conflict with those people.
Right.
But also you follow God's laws.
Right.
You follow his laws, you know. So that's why even here in America, we follow the American law. We're not going around murdering, robbing, stealing, breaking people. We're following the laws of this land. But we also follow the laws of our Father in heaven, who says that we can't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster, or smoke weed,
Right.
or pop whores, or go out and celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, and
Right.
Easter, and all those other pagan and Roman holidays. We follow those laws as well. You know, that's
Right.
the wisdom of other nations. So those powers, that's what it is.
Right. You had something to add?
Oh no, so like I was just gonna say because that one that scripture is talking about higher powers, right?
Right. It says, "Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers." Right. So we are subject unto the higher powers. That, like I'm explaining the as the kingdom, you know, we were subject to higher powers, but of course they set a set of rules. But if you continue reading, it said, "For there is no power but of God's." So we understand, even though there's these presidents, there's these governors, there's these kings, there's these people, they may be in place, but there is a higher power than them. And let's see who puts those powers. And they continue saying, the powers that be are ordained of God. So God puts these people into power. The king didn't become a king because he decided to. Let me tell you something. The Lord puts people in power. You know what? Donald Trump is in power because the Lord has allowed him to be in power. Because the Lord has put this man in power because it's time for Israel to wake up. Let me tell you something. If we had those presidents that we've had, we would give a damn about what's happening to us today. Because this man's in power, he's decided to put these kids in the detention centers. And now us as Mexicans, we're waking up and being like, man, that's an evil thing to do. But America's always done that to our people. In the 1930s, they were spraying our parents, or you know, our people with poison to come into America. And then when they came into America, after they sprayed them naked, they would put them all in a room naked and spray them. And then they bring them to work in these fields and treat them like animals. You know what I'm saying? And they would pay them pennies to pick their fruit. And you know what? We thought America was great like that. And then we had to protest out in the street to get equal rights because our children were not being properly educated in the school system. And they were being discriminated on because they spoke Spanish. And if you spoke your language, automatically you were suspended, or you were they hit you with a ruler. They punish you. That's the word, punishment. And then in the 1940s and 50s, they decided to put everybody in planes and buses and ships and deport Chicano people who didn't speak a goddamn drop of Spanish, and deport them to the deserts of Mexicali, where thousands of families died. But America was great to Mexicans. They still wanted to come over here. Black people were sold, their children sold, put into slavery, man, killed in the street, still being killed in the street. And you know what? America's a great place, the black man says. A lot of Native American Indians, oh man, well, we got a break now. You know, now we got this land. Man, you ain't got no land. You ain't got nothing. But America is great to these people. To them, you know, I hate to say it, man. My pops loves America. God damn it. Oh, America is great. Oh, you know. And I'm like, come on, man. America is not a great place. But we love America. So you know what the Lord had to do to wake these people up? The Lord had to put somebody who can show you how much America hates you. Who can show you physically and show you mentally and show you in every single way how you're really sleeping, and that white people hate you because you're black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian. And you would have never known, right, unless this would have happened to you. Now you see a person with a hat that says "Make America Great Again" and you're offended. You know what I'm saying? Now you see these children in these detention centers and now you're offended. You should have been offended a long time ago. You should have been offended in 1492 when they set foot here and robbed, raped, and murdered your people. But you could never, ever understand how much hate they have for you. You still continue to love these people even though they show nothing but hate for you. And so you know what the Lord has to do? He has to punish you severely. He has to put somebody in place that's just going to outright publicly hate you in front of everybody's face. and tell the police department, you guys need to put more violence into your stops against black people. He's in videos, and a black man is trying to shake his hand, and he's completely ignoring the black man and black woman. He hates Mexicans, you know. And you know what? The Lord had to put him in place for you to finally understand that. So why is Donald Trump in place? Because blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians just can't seem to get the goddamn light in their eyes of the reality of the situation that they're in. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what happens, you continue loving these people, and they continue to hate you every single decade throughout history. And you still haven't got it. Go ahead, Kishawan.
If I could, I got a precept on why the Lord put Trump up there in office. It's Romans the 9th chapter and the 15th verse. Romans chapter 9 and verse 15. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Verse 16. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy.
Right.
Verse 17. For the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Right.
Exactly.
So see, that's why we gotta understand that the Lord puts people in power, and we gotta follow these people. But you know what? If we're living in the time, you know, that these governments, man, you know, it's time to separate, because now we're living in a time of what I would say is a designated time when it's time to separate from these people. I was saying that 10 commandments, right? We got 10 commandments. You know, the Lord set these 10 commandments. Some of our leaders follow these 10 commandments, but some of these leaders don't give a damn about these commandments. President Donald Trump does not care about your people. He does not care about black, Hispanics, or Native American Indians. He could give a damn about your laws or the Bible. He cares about himself and what he's doing. Go ahead and read the commandments. I'm going to show you how the Native American Indian, the Mexican, and Israel, we all had commandments that were basically the same. We had a system of the Native American Indian said, hey, we got to have commandments. The Aztec Indian said, hey, we got to have commandments. Why? Because they knew their ancestors lived by the commandments of the Lord. Go ahead and read it.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou, verse 3, thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Okay, stop right there. So, the first commandment is, thou shalt not have no other gods before me. Let me tell you what the Aztec commandments, the number one law that they had, the Aztec commandments, thou shalt fear, honor, and love the gods. Now, you know what? We know there was only one God, but the Aztecs wrote about gods. Now, the word God in the kingdom meant power. You know what I'm saying? That's what God means. God means power. You know, so you're gonna love this power that guides you. They wrote just the way our laws were in the 10 Commandments. They wrote, you shall love the gods. You know what I'm saying? You shall love the God. And that's one of the commandments that we follow. Continue reading.
Verse 3, thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Right.
Verse 4, thou shalt not make...
Oh, wait a minute. So now I'm also going to read the Native American Indian commandments. The 10 Indian commandments. And their commandment is remain close to the Great Spirit. That was their first commandment. Remain close to the Great Spirit. Go ahead, read.
Verse 4, thou shalt not make any unto thee any graven images or likeness of anything that is in heaven above or that is in the earth beneath
Right.
or that is in the water under the earth.
Right. So another commandment was to make nothing in the image of any god, not worship anything. Of course, our people, the Aztecs, went ahead and disobeyed that law and started to make all kinds of worshiping to other gods. You know, that's why, because we separated from the laws that were supposed to keep us. Continue reading.
Verse 5, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Verse 6, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
Right.
Verse 7, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
Okay, so what is that? Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. The Aztec kingdom, they had one of the commandments that they had 8. One of their commandments is, thou shalt not use the name of the gods of thy tongue or in thy talk at any time. So just like the commandment says, not use that one in vain, us too, in the Aztec kingdom, our commandment was, don't take the name of the Lord in vain. Continue reading.
For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Verse 8, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Verse 9, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. Verse 10, but the...
what was that?
Verse 9, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So that they're holding a day, right? A feast day, right? A day to honor. The Aztec kingdom, the 4th commandment was, thou shalt honor the feast day. The day that they kept sacred. The feast day. That's one of the commandments in the Aztec commandments. Go ahead and read.
Verse 10, but the 7th day is the Sabbath.
Right.
Of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Right.
Verse 11, for in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day.
Right.
Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Verse 12, honor thy father and thy mother.
What is that?
Honor thy father and thy mother.
The Aztec commandments, the 4th commandment is, thou shalt honor thy father and thy mother, thy kinsmen, priests, and elders. Just like in the Bible, in the commandments they gave us, the Aztec commandments had that same commandment. They had the same commandment, thou shalt honor thy father and thy mother. Continue reading.
That thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Verse 12, thou shalt not kill.
What is it?
Thou shalt not kill.
The 5th commandment in the Aztec commandments is, thou shalt not kill. Continue reading.
Verse 14, thou shalt not commit adultery.
What is it?
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
The 6th commandment in the Aztec commandments is, thou shalt not commit adultery. Continue reading.
Verse 15, thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not what?
Thou shalt not
The
steal.
7th commandment in the Aztec commandments is, thou shalt not steal. Continue reading.
Verse 16, thou shalt not bear false witness.
What is it?
Bear false witness.
The 8th commandment and last commandment in the commandments of the Aztecs is, thou shalt not bear false witness. Now they only had 8. And you're wondering, well, you know, they didn't keep all the commandments. It's not the same as the Bible. You know, it's not. It's a 1 in 100 lucky. You know, they might have said that. Let me tell you something. The Aztecs forgot the 10 commandments that the Lord had given them, but they kept some of them. And you know how you know that that's true? Because today, before you came into this truth, you kept only some of the commandments, but you didn't keep the 10 commandments. You sure wouldn't kill nobody because you were like, nah, man, I'm not going to kill nobody. But you were okay stealing. You were okay sleeping with somebody else's woman, right? You were okay getting mad at your mom and your dad, right? But there were certain commandments you wouldn't keep, but there were certain ones you would keep, right? And you think about it now, man, I can't kill nobody. God's going to punish me. You know what I'm saying? But you would ignore the other laws. The Aztecs did the same thing. They knew about the laws of the Lord. They kept some of them, but some of them they didn't. The Aztecs were able to keep commandments and keep their society in place. They were able to keep their civilization meaningful and in a good order because they followed commandments that were given to them. In Israel today, the way you live, you have to live under the commandments of the Lord. You have to follow what the Lord has given us, for you can live a good life, and the Lord can see that you're living a good life. And you know what the commandments do? They help you to live properly. That's what they help you do. If you don't eat shrimp and lobster, you ain't gonna get sick. If you don't eat that pork, you're not gonna die of trichinosis. You're gonna be okay. If you're not a goddamn drunk in the street, you're gonna be all right. If you ain't taking drugs and going into crack binges and all that, man, you're gonna be right. You know what I'm saying? If you follow and keep order, you're gonna be all right. You know, that's why we need to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Romans 13 tells us, man, let every soul be subject unto higher powers. Yeah, we gotta follow the laws of the land. We gotta be right on what we are, right? But, for there is no power but of God. But we gotta understand that the highest power is God. That's the highest power. The powers that be are ordained by God. Everybody that's in power, man, the Lord has put them in power. We're here just to follow the law, the orders that the Lord has put in place. We need to follow law, statutes, and commandments. We need to serve the Lord. That's what we need to do. They're going to pass these laws. You're not going to drive without a driver's license because you're going to get caught up. You ain't going to go park in the street and drink in the middle of the street because you're going to get caught up. You know what I mean? You have to understand that, you got to be in order in this kingdom because this is not our kingdom. It says, whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God. That's why we can't resist what's going on. We have to, we have to become part of it. We have to keep laws. We got to keep them statutes. But above all, we got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord for our own benefit, for our own health, for our own spiritual growth. We have to keep these laws. We cannot be breaking these laws either in the city or in our own homes. Continue to say, and that they resist shall receive to themselves damnation. Of course, man, you are not going to eat pork. You are not going to eat lobster. You are not going to sleep with your brother's sister or your homeboy's sister. You're not going to be doing these things no more. Why? Because you yourself are being damned here. You're breaking the laws and the statutes the commandment has put forward for you. You ain't going to go do these things because these things are not for you to do. Let them heathens do that. Who gives a damn about them? That is us, Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. That's not for us. Continue saying on 13 and 3, for rulers are not a terror to good works. So even a ruler, as long as we're doing the good work, man, we ain't going to find ourselves in those positions. You know what I mean? We ain't going to find ourselves going through that stuff. We okay here. We're okay in this kingdom. Serve the Lord, man. You're having problems finding a place to stay, man, serve the Lord. You're going to be all right. You sick, man, serve the Lord. You're going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? You out there struggling, man, serve the Lord. You're going to be all right. The Lord is going to have mercy on you, and he's going to bring you and put you correct. But you just got to put your part. You cannot be doing this stuff and then think the Lord's going to have mercy on you. No way, man. You got to come back to this truth. You know what? I'm going to tell you, man. You cannot step into this truth and then abandon it. That's not the way the Lord works. The Lord is a man of war. If you step into this truth and you vow to help the brothers and sisters, Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians by saying the things that are supposed to be, properly put, that they might come out of that sleep that they're in, then let me tell you something. You've taken an oath with the Lord, and you got to meet that oath. You have to come through, and you got to finish what you started. You cannot come in here and, get your name and serve for, a month or 2 or 3, and then, decide, man, well, you know what, I just can't do it. I'm just going to be on my way. You know what, what's that precept? It's better you never have known me. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that the precept? It's better you have never have known me. than to have served me at some point. You know, that's not the way it works. If you're in this truth, man, you need to come back into this truth. Because the Lord is forgiving. It's got a grace period. But you know what? The Lord isn't always going to forgive. What is that?
Second Peter chapter 2 and verse 21.
Go ahead and read that.
For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness.
What is that?
For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness.
Let me tell you, brother, it was better for you have not to known the way of righteousness, that you had never stepped into this truth or seek the help of the Lord to get you out of the condition you were in. The Lord pulled through and said, you know what, I'm going to give you a name and I'm going to pull you out of that nonsense and you're going to come and serve me. He did his part. Continue reading.
Then, after they have known it,
then after that you already knew, man, you were already here. Read.
To turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them.
You see, and you turn from the commandment. Let me tell you, one of those commandments is to serve your brother. Ain't that right?
That's right.
Serve your brother. Help your brother. You know why you need to help your brother? Because your brother is in danger. Your brother's out here doing those things that you used to do. And now you know what it is. So it's time for you to bring your brother out. Continue reading.
I think that's it.
That's it. Man, it was better that you have not known the Lord. Man, you come into this truth, you're here for good. This ain't no half-stepping, man. You come into this truth is because you're gonna serve this Lord. You're gonna serve Yahweh. You're gonna serve your brothers and sisters, and you're gonna bring them out of this captivity. That's your job now. Your job is not you no more. Your job is your brothers and sisters. That's what your job is. This is no longer about you. This is no longer about your career or you or what you're going to do tomorrow or what's going to happen to you. This is no longer about you. When you die, man, you better die knowing, man, I serve the Lord and I serve my people and I'm ready to go. Because don't get caught, right, on that deathbed and be sorry that you didn't finish what you started. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So it's better to come into this truth and finish this. This ain't no game. You don't play games with the Lord. The Lord chose you. You didn't choose him. He said, you're going to serve me. And now the word is done. And you said, yeah, I am going to serve you. I accept. Give me my name and let's get this going. And I'm pumped up and ready to go. And now you find yourself turning from the truth? No, man, that's not the way it works. It's time to girdle up your loins. You know, we strong people in this truth, man. Black, Hispanics, Native Americans, man, we the strongest people out there. There ain't nobody stronger than us. And this time we're going to prove it. This is the appointed time. This is the last hour. This is where we're going to go. Go ahead.
Now they say that, I could keep reading. Verse 22.
Go ahead, 22.
But it is happened unto them according to that true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again.
Oh, the dog is turned to his own vomit again. You went back to where you came from. The Lord took you out. The Lord gave you a break, gave you a new start. And you know what? Sometimes you don't have to be, in the street as a drug addict. You don't have to be, a drunk completely or on the street. That's not what it is. You know what? Sometimes your spirit is completely destroyed. You just feel like life has no meaning. You feel like all this that you've been through is just like you don't have nowhere to go. You've been down this street and it's like, man, I just feel like you could have a job and you can still feel worthless. You can have your family and you can still feel like, man, there's just nothing for me here. There's people who have everything and have nothing. But the Lord has pulled you from that. And he's decided to give you a second chance. Where now you feel you're here for something. You've become meaningful. But you've decided to go back to your vomit. You've decided to go back to that feeling. You've been down this street before. And now you want to go back? Now you want to turn around and leave the Lord and go back to where you came from? Man, that's not the wise choice for men of the Lord. You got more? Read.
Nah, that's it on that slide.
You know what I'm saying? That's just not the right choice. That's why we gotta understand that we gotta girdle up our loins and get into this truth and finish what we started. That's why we we here to finish what the Lord has begun us to do. And you know what? It's easy, man. It ain't no hard task. Just get in here. You got brothers right here that are gonna be with you, that are gonna support you, that are gonna get you through. And sometimes, man, it's tough. You know what? Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes some of the brothers, just the way you feel, some of the other brothers feel too. But that's why we all gotta look at ourselves and be those people that are gonna help and persevere for others, because others are gonna look at you and they'll be like, man, that brother can make it. Why the hell can't I make it? You know, and we could be that hook that helps our brothers get it together again. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Once again, we're the ISUPK coming out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York City. We're here every Wednesday, man, to give a good word to our brothers and sisters and help in the situations that you may be in. You know what I'm saying? We're right here, man. Every time you're on this channel and you're watching us, we're right across from each other. You know, we got that open line. You can hit us up for anything. We right here, man. We right here to exchange whatever's going on. We're people just like you are. We go through the same situations you got. A lot of times, some of the stuff we bring out is not because we're just picking and choosing. It's because some of the things we're going through, we understand all of Israel's going through. And we understand that sometimes we bring up these topics and we're hitting home because, man, that is our home for all of us. We're all struggling. All of us are struggling once in a while to get this. And it's a lesson learned. A lesson that when we open up and we tell our brothers and sisters, they understand that they're not the only ones going through difficult and critical times. And that's why we're here. We're here to share this, that we can all make it through these tough times. Because this is an appointed time. And this time is coming to an end. And who better to get us all out than us? If we don't do this work, who's going to do this work for us? Ain't no one going to do this work. That's why we got to step up and do this correctly. Now, we want to thank everybody for joining us. Don't forget, we're on the ISUPK YouTube. You know, look us up right there. Get in there. Subscribe to our channel, because, you know, that's the channel we're using, the ISUPK YouTube. We're going to be on there every Wednesday. I want to thank my brother who hit us up with that precept. He wanted to know about Romans 13. That's the one we answered today, Romans 13. I hope that was a little help for you. You know what I'm saying? It's all about that, man. We serve the Lord, and even though there's people in this kingdom, we got to respect the laws and the laws that are in this kingdom, for we can be able to get along here, right? But ultimately, we serve the Lord. That's who we learn, and that's who we serve. And ultimately, we follow the law, statutes, and commandments, that we and our families can be right and that we can prosper and stay correct. With that, that's our class. You know what? I was going to do some prayers. You got these prayers right there, Sharon? I think they're in the drawer right there. Let's get those prayers.
Last precept.
Okay, let's get one more precept. Sharon Rock, that's a precept. Go ahead.
So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Come.
Fear God and keep his commandments.
Come.
For this is the whole duty of man.
Come, that's right.
Follow those commandments, yo. This is your whole duty. There's nothing else to follow. Those commandments is what we got to follow. You know.
Come. Great precept to end it. And with that, let's end this class. We're going to go ahead and do these prayers real quick. Just for all of Israel, we're going to do these prayers. We're only going to do the blessings and the Lord's Prayer.
Men of Israel, Amijah. Sar to the east. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Why Yahweh Shai?
Why Yahweh Shai?
Why Malak Kala?
Mawalaka.
Why Salaki? Why Mayak Yala?
Why Mayak Mala?
Wamayakela.
Why Alahaya?
Why Alahayim?
Mataza Baya?
Mataza Baya?
Awa
Aywa?
Yahana?
Yahana?
Ha Awapian?
Ha Alawapiam?
Ha Saranyam?
Ha Saranyam?
Ha Quatasayanyam?
Ha Quatazayanyam?
Ha Kayayanyam?
Ha Kalyanyam?
Wa Aquathian,
Wa Aquathium,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashem,
Bashem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
the water, Aman.
Amun.
All right, in the English, and this is what we said. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh,
And Yahweh Shai.
and Yahweh Shai,
And Michael.
and Michael,
And the angels.
and the angels,
Commanding General Yohanan.
commanding General Yohanan,
The generals.
the generals,
The captains.
the captains,
The officers.
the officers,
The troopers.
the troopers,
And the sisters.
and the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh,
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
Thank you.
thank you.
So be it.
So
So
be
be
it.
it.
Let's do the Lord's Prayer.
Abba Nawah,
You don't need to slide.
Let me do it in the Hebrew. I'm going to do it in the Hebrew and then you can do it in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kadash.
Kadash,
Hayah.
Hayah,
Shamka.
Shamka,
Yahweh.
Yahweh,
Malak with Ka.
Malak with Ka,
Taba'ah.
Taba'ah,
Rataza'aka.
Aratzaka,
Hayah.
Hayah,
Aisha.
Aisha,
Ba'aratazah.
Ba'aratzah,
Kawa.
Kawa,
Hayah.
Hayah,
Bashamayam.
Bashamayam,
Nathan.
Ladan,
Lanawa.
Lanawa,
Lakam.
Lakam,
Kal.
Kal,
Yawam.
Yawam,
Wasalak Lanawa.
Wasalak Lanawa,
Kabawat Wanawa.
Kabawat Yinawa,
Kasalak Nawa.
Kasalak Nawa,
Kabawat.
Kabawat,
Watayanawa.
Watayanawa,
Wala'a.
Wala'a,
Tabayanawa.
Tabayanawa,
Banasayawan.
Banasayawan,
Abal.
Abal,
Hawashanawa.
Awashinawa,
Mayan.
Mayan,
Rai.
Rai,
Kaya.
Kaya,
Laka.
Laka,
Hamalakwa.
Hamalakwa,
Wa'ala.
Wa'ata,
Wa'ala.
Wahala,
Wahataparat.
Wahataparat,
La'i walamyam.
La'im Alinyam,
Aman.
Aman.
Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
on earth
on earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
and forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forget our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Aman.
Amen.
Right. Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay. Men of Israel,
We're gonna give
we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Sorry, teacher. Men of Israel, Amazim Shabbat, Amazim, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahweh Bashim Yasha Barakatah.
Yahya Matah.
Yahya Matah, dismissed.
Wow. All right.
How do you
Shalom,
select it? How do you want this right here?